This program is rated PG. It contains themes and scenes which may not be suitable for very young audiences. Parental guidance is advised.
Be advised that the views and opinions of the hosts and guests do not reflect those of the station.
If you look at the delegation here at CES this year, I think it's around 280 French companies. I think it's 182 startups themselves. This biggest delegation, and we've seen amazing stories of people, launching products and changing the world.
Massive French section. I didn't expect it to be this big, so that's impressive.
This is my second CES, and the reason why I'm coming again and why I'm so proud to be a French representative is because the French tech has exploded.
Everything is booming in the entrepreneurship system in France.
French tech is the French touch technology. Okay? At the same time, it's the movement of a generation.
Being a French tech startup means that we are building on pretty much the shoulders of giants who came before.
The French tech as a community as well is crucial because it allows people to really believe in that objective of being a true and amazing startup nation. Do your homework, look at the numbers and just verify that France is probably one of the best places to actually launch a business today.
We used to be a little bit shy, and I think now we know that it's possible. You can make it happen with the French tech.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Global Village. I'm Buddy Kunanan. Now, guys, on this show, we take you around the world. We take you to other countries to have a look at how people live and how they do things and how they work. And we also talk about issues that impact the global community. And tonight, folks, we're talking about French entrepreneurship, which is booming. And we're going to talk to the head of French Tech Philippines, and we're going to meet some French entrepreneurs here in the Philippines who are carrying out some very exciting, very amazing projects that are benefiting the communities. So, for the first segment, we have on the show Mr. Cyril Roch, and he is the CEO of a company called Data One Asia, and he's also the director of French Tech Philippines. Cyril, welcome to Global Village. Pleasure to have you, sir.
Thank you.
Yes. It's a nice topic because we've been featuring France these last 2 weeks. We had the people from the French Chamber recently over here, and we talked about France, Philippines, United Action, very nice NGO that was established fairly recently that's been doing wonderful things here in the Philippines. And now, La French Tech, or French Tech Philippines, which is the association that you are a director of.
Yes.
So let's start first, Cyril, talking about you. Who is Monsieur Cyril Roch?
All right, so I'm a French national. I've been living in the Philippines for 26 years already. And in a way, I'm also part of that wave of French entrepreneurs who have come and stayed in the Philippines. So I came here in 1991. I started as a banker. I worked about 10 years in corporate banking in Indonesia, in France, and eventually I came here. The Philippines was not a destination that I had been dreaming of because I had no connection whatsoever to the Philippines.
Yes.
However, I was quite familiar already at the time with Asia and Southeast Asia. My wife being Indonesian of Chinese ancestry. So when we were offered a job in the Philippines in '91, it was both a challenge and interesting. A challenge because it was a small company that I was given the opportunity to manage and to lead. And at the same time, the Philippines were just emerging from years and years of crisis. So unknown place, challenge, and exciting. So I worked for that company for 5 years. The name of the company was Mercator Finance. It was a joint venture with the Zuellig Group. And we had very successful years. Obviously, when I came here in '91, I didn't expect that the next 5 years would be actually years of very strong growth. So I made the right decision in coming here.
Yes.
And so I learned a lot, interacting with Filipino, enjoyed it. very friendly people, very easy to work and live with because of the affinity that there is with the European and Western culture.
Yes.
So eventually, in '95, I tried to realize one of my dreams, which was to one day, if I have the opportunity, would be to become an entrepreneur. And it was, you know, one of those crossroads in your life where you have to decide, do I go back to France, do I go back to the head office and continue my life as a banker? And you can plan 20 years ahead and you know more or less what's going to happen.
Yes, yes.
Or maybe go elsewhere, maybe go to Indonesia, or stay here, and I decided to stay in the Philippines.
And it's been 26 years,
Yes.
and you've been very successful here in the Philippines. Bravo, congratulations.
Thank you.
And today you're the CEO of Data One. What is
Yes.
Data One?
Actually, I'm the CEO of two companies.
Okay.
So I think entrepreneurship is, first of all, is a state of mind, is to decide that you're giving away the comfort of security and certainty, corporate life, and to go for the unknown. And you can make all the business plans and all the best plans that you have, and you can be sure one thing, most of the time it will fail. So when I left the bank, I looked at many things, trading of importing goods for the hotel industry, and also I looked at low-cost housing, and probably I was too early or didn't have the skill set, or you're worried that there's not an proper match, ideal match between your skills, your expertise, and what you're trying to do, because it's scary.
Yes, yes.
So eventually I decided to go back into what I know, and which was finance. But failure and the difficulties force you to readjust all the time. So from plain finance, I decided I had the opportunity to enter a field of technology finance in the year 99, 2000. Yes. This was, by the way, the year of the dot-com bubble.
Yes.
Let's not forget that.
Yes, yes.
So tech goes through bubbles as well.
Yes.
So from there, I entered the space of technology finance, which was totally new to me. And eventually, I had the opportunity in 2002 to acquire Data One from the Keppel Group of companies, which was my first real foray into tech, in the sense of tech infrastructure, network, hosting, and now cloud. So in a way, I've been in the tech industry as an entrepreneur for 15 years now.
So really, I mean, you are perfect for this role now, being director of French Tech Philippines. You have experience, you have the success for it, you have the know-how and all of that, and you know, really primed to lead this group. Let's talk about French Tech.
Sure.
La French Tech, or French Tech Philippines. What is this association about?
All right, so I think there's the idea for French Tech. First of all, it's not just French Tech Philippines. French Tech is a worldwide organization that started in France. And it starts from the realization in France that we have a lot of talent, and there's a lot of drive from especially the younger generation to, in a way, emulate what has happened in the Silicon Valley, and that this can be done in France, or that the French can do it.
Yes.
Not many people know, first of all, that the French, the word entrepreneur is a French word. But that French are very entrepreneur-minded. Louis Vuitton is owned by a French entrepreneur. Mr. Arnault is a French entrepreneur. He started with nothing.
Yes.
One of the biggest French telecom company, Free, was started by a man called Xavier Niel, which is a main driver of French tech in France. So we have a lot of entrepreneurs in France. There's a lot of other things that are quite unknown in the rest of the world, is that France has been a major world power in the field of science and technology, and in particular mathematics. So if you look at, for instance, a measure of success in math, which is the number of Fields Medal, France is at the same level as the US in the world, and far ahead of any other country, with about 11 or 12 medals.
Yes.
So we have, in terms of mathematics, pure research, we are very, very strong. Also in terms of engineering schools, we have
Definitely.
some of the best engineers in the world with a
Yes.
very high level of mathematics. For instance, if you look at the City of London, most of the financial engineers, the quants, as you call them, I think 25% or even more are French. So there's a reason for that. They
Yes.
don't come from Cambridge.
Yes.
They come from French schools, Polytechnique, Centrale, a lot of schools which produce a lot of extremely high-level engineers who can invent and be very creative.
It's interesting, Cyril, that French entrepreneurship is really booming because traditionally, when one thinks about France from the business side of it, two things come to mind: rigid laws, unemployment, and huge taxes.
Yes.
So these things traditionally are not what give rise to a big growth in startups or new businesses. I mean, this is anathema.
Sure, sure.
So
let me address that.
Please do, yes.
Okay, so in France, you know, we like to think in terms of systems. So we mentioned earlier that France invented liberté, égalité, fraternité. So today we have, for the past 20, 30 years, we have focused a lot on égalité, on equality and protection of the workers, and a bit less on freedom and freedom to start a business and to take risks. So risk is something that was pushed aside. Going back to education, so we have a system, some parts of it are extremely competitive, the engineering school, the business schools. Some parts of it are lagging behind. That's why, to some extent, in the Shanghai ranking and some other ranking, you don't see a lot of French institutions, which doesn't mean that they are not really performing. We still have the talent coming out. So we have a lot of talent. In fact, even the French business schools are very highly ranked.
Definitely, definitely.
So we have that talent coming out, and that talent, to a large extent, has been frustrated and migrating to the UK, to the US, and to some extent, in other parts of the world. This is why, you know, if I look back at my experience 25 years ago or 30 years ago, you didn't see a lot of graduates from top schools coming to the Philippines. You met people looking for jobs, looking for adventure, but you didn't see the top-notch graduates coming to the Philippines to start a different life. And now there's a very large community in the Philippines of young French people willing to take a chance, start a business, and experiment different things. So you have that energy and that drive.
Yeah.
And the political environment in France has changed. It started already during the mandate of President Hollande, and it's increased under the new presidency of President Macron, who wants to make France a hotbed of entrepreneurship, keep the talent in France, and have more startup innovation in France. Because we know that the economy is changing.
Yes.
It used to be manufacturing, which is still very important, chemicals, all sorts of industry, but knowledge-based industries. And you can see, for instance, the experience of not only Silicon Valley, but also, say, Israel, a country with limited resources. They have so many startups, and they create value, they create wealth, and we have all the resources in France to be somewhere there.
And you have the talent in France.
Yes.
Definitely you have the talent, and that is the aim of, I think, every government, to create new jobs. That's the only way you can take up the slack for the new people entering the job market, the workforce. No? And this change in France, correct me if I'm wrong, happened about four years ago, 5 years ago?
So French Tech was started in 2013. So it was an initiative of the French government. And I think they somehow got it right, because you don't want always the government to run things.
Yes.
You don't want the government to manage things and organizations like that. They understand that the energy, the talent, the ideas, the creativity come from the people themselves. But they also, I think, understood the role that government can play. So first of all, the label, the brand, French Tech, the name was established by the government. So they own it, and they can set standards of governance, of objectives, of what is a French Tech hub. So there's a number of French Tech hubs in France. I think they have created in some major cities, 13, which include incubators.
Okay.
They involve the local government, industry, to help promote, support, fund, to create an ecosystem with the venture capital funds.
Yes.
So in the number of large cities, each with their area of expertise, some can be in healthcare, some can be in biotech, so some can be in other things.
And I think that's a great partnership, because I think really the role of government should be to provide the infrastructure and the financial support to allow these entrepreneurs to do their thing.
Yes.
To just be creative and start new ventures and make it easy for them to do so. Now, you're talking about France, but apparently Le French Tech is now spread all over the world, and including now with your association, I'd like an association here in the Philippines.
Yes. So I think from the onset, it's called French Tech, which is in English, which projects the idea that we understand that this initiative is a global initiative, otherwise it would be the Tech Française.
Yes.
So from the very beginning, they understood that there are hubs and centers worldwide, and French Tech set up 22 hubs all over the world, in places like New York, San Francisco, Israel, Shanghai, Seoul, etc. So wherever there's a lot of activity and a number of French entrepreneurs. So there's a lot of French entrepreneurs in the Silicon Valley, etc., etc. So, and French companies, even when they start in France, at some point they need to move out. They need to partner, they need to look for partners, they need to find either funding or tech
new
partners
opportunities
or investors or to sell their products. So we need to be everywhere. So French Tech is a global network, so you have hubs that are very structured and well organized with a lot of members. And you have places like Manila, which is new, so we don't have the label French Tech, the official label, but we are part of the network. And so...
How do you help your members? Because in a few minutes we're going to be meeting two entrepreneurs, Filipino-French entrepreneurs.
Yes.
But how does your association here help these French or Filipino-French entrepreneurs doing business here in the Philippines?
Okay. So, as I said earlier, French Tech is loosely aligned and working with the French government. So it's monitored and overseen by the Ministry of Economics. So we work alongside with them. So we have a board of directors consisting of 3 people, 2 entrepreneurs like me, Frédéric Lévy, myself, and a lady who works with the French government, who's based here. And then we have committees. What we're trying to do is create a number of things. One is relationship with the corporate world, so the Ayala, the Globe, the PLDT, because this could be either customers
or a source
investors,
of funds,
or partners, etc., etc. So that build up those relationships. So people like me who have been here for a long time, I can be that bridge to some extent. Then we need to organize events. So we are not alone here. There's a lot of other organizations affiliated to other VCs or hubs or etc. And so that we facilitate people meeting one another, partners, employees, networking.
Yes.
And we need to also communicate about who we are. So we can help with mentorship, advice, guidance, training, funding. So there's a lot of ways we can help people. So to help them not make the mistakes that we did before.
Excellent program. Now, Cyril, we have to pause for a break. When we come back, we're going to meet Benedict Soup, and she is the founder and managing director of Kalawis Garden, very successful social enterprise here in Metro Manila, just outside Metro Manila in Antipolo. So stick around for that. So guys, more of France Tech Philippines when Global Village returns.
French Tech is it's a flag.
A lot of people from France.
Being a French Techer is being part of a group.
Not a group, it's a team where there is a lot of innovations.
Great accelerator.
With a lot of different views, different ideas. It's a kind of power, it's a kind of help.
We have the same ambitions.
So the French Tech is a group of people, entrepreneur people, that like to build new objects that will change the tomorrow world.
It's only when you are inside that you can understand.